Good morning, everybody. Carrie Williams from Team Tippy at eXp Realty, and I am here today with one of my favorite marketing people, Katie Coleman from Lawyers Title.
Good morning.
How's it going, Katie?
It's going great, Carrie.
Awesome. So thank you for letting us come in today.
Absolutely.
I wanted to take a minute and I wanted to see if you could kind of explain something to our viewers.
Certainly.
Okay. So sometimes escrow is a four-letter word. People don't really know what it means, and they're like, escrow, is that bad? I don't know. So can you kind of tell us more about what escrow is in the real estate purchase process?
Certainly. So when you go into escrow, it is agreed upon through writing in your contract where you take the escrow. So both parties will decide, buyer, seller, pick where escrow goes in mutual agreement in your contract. And the reason for escrow is it's a mutual third party. So what that means is we act as the third party that sits in the middle of the buyer, the seller, the agents, the lender. We make sure all parties are represented equally and everyone's happy in the transaction so that there's a successful close.
So when you say represented, how do you represent them? What is the process?
So we don't represent buyer, seller, or agent or lender. We sit as a mutual third party, making sure that all parties have all their answers to all their questions answered.
Okay.
That they feel comfortable with the situation. And we also handle the finances. So we are the mutual third party where the funds come into our company and are dispersed out for payment for liens and judgments against the property.
Okay, so essentially in the transaction, whatever the monies that the seller needs to come in with for the transaction, whatever the money the buyers need to have into the transaction, they all kind of go into this central place where you guys process it and then make sure that when the house is bought or sold, that everybody's finances is all taken care of?
Settled, yes,
okay.
Correct. So basically the funds come into what is called an escrow trust account. And out of that trust account for the escrow officer will make sure that payoffs, judgments, anything that the seller has against the property are paid in full. In turn, the lender's funding for the buyer's purchase of the property comes into the same escrow account. And then the seller receives their proceeds from the close of escrow, and all judgments, like I said previously, payoffs, etc., would be paid through the close, and that would, once recording happens.
Okay, so I've heard the terms escrow and title, used interchangeably. Is it the same thing?
So there's two separate things. Escrow would be the escrow officer and the paperwork, the signing of the escrow instructions, and you go to the escrow officer to sign your loan documents. The title aspect of it is the research for liens, judgments, payoffs, etc. that are against the parcel or the piece of property that's being purchased in the transaction.
So essentially, but are they run out of the same location? Are they typically run out of the same office, or do I need someone to handle my escrow account and someone to handle my title account?
No, they are handled out of the same office.
Okay.
Our title department doesn't sit in the same offices as our escrow officers. However, our title department is a direct part of our operation. So you don't need two different entities to handle it for you. You can have escrow and title in the same location.
That's fantastic. So why is it so important that the sellers and the buyers in the transaction feel comfortable with the escrow officer that's handling their transaction?
Well, it's important to know that you have the support and the knowledge in your escrow officer to handle the situation. There'll be situations that come up within a closing that could delay, that could derail the entire transaction if the escrow officer isn't knowledgeable in the fact of how to handle the situation. So it's important to take your agent's guidance on their relationships with their business partners because they know and trust these escrow officers that they worked with, that the deal will get done and that situations will be handled and there'll still be a successful close in your future.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to explain to everyone how escrow works and how important it is in the real estate transaction. And our escrow partners for us realtors is such a essential part in making sure that we give our buyers and our sellers the best experience in the real estate transaction possible.
Absolutely.
And Katie's my girl. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to learn all about escrow with Katie Coleman at Lawyers Title.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.